Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome to our time on the couch from Lagos. You guys are tired, there's no question about it. We had an amazing event yesterday in Benin City, Edo State. And we haven't stopped since yesterday. So let me use this opportunity to, don't you guys think Benin was really good yesterday? Yes. They said it's the DNA of the TIB movement, that's Benin City. So, opportunity to thank a lot of the local organizers there. If you're hearing me, Lexis, Roland, our chairman there, Dr. Greg Okobo, amazing guys. It's a lot of people I can't even count. They had both local and diaspora organizers. Opportunity to also thank Bishop Ferbi Dahosa, who invited us to his university in the evening. That's based in the Dahosa University, BIU, and all the BIU sites who were there to welcome us yesterday, and we got feedback that they really liked it. Students and their lecturers alike. Thank you guys a lot. Benin was really good, and also to the people who brought us to the IDP camp. That was the heartbreaker. It's very heartbreaking to go to that camp, and one of the kids came up to us when we were about leaving, and he was saying that, we don't know where we are. That's like really terrible, that there are people in Nigeria who are living in Nigeria who completely don't know where they are. So but most people are like that, but that's particularly terrible, that there are people who are refugees in their own countries. So that's Benin. We have, after Benin, we came back to Lagos by road. As usual, ran into the Lagos traffic. It's just insane what is happening with leadership in this country. As when that 2 hours traffic got there about, I'm looking to my right, like there are like tons of roads that could have linked up to other parts of Lagos and Ogun State to avoid this traffic. There's only one way or two ways to enter Lagos, right? Maybe by road. No, 3. Actually 4. If you're coming from Badagry, if you're coming from Abeokuta, and then Ikorodu, and now Ekpe, 5, and then this particular useless one. But it's just insane that, the more you see this kind of problems, the more you understand that people have not led this country the way any country ought to have been led at all, It's insane. It's insane, and it's the same set of recycled leaders that have done this to us year in, year out, and they don't have any plan to retire. I heard one of them was making joke today, President Buhari, saying that he's not seeking for 3rd term, or he's only asking for 2nd term. Like, who is asking you? Like, you are already done. This is actually 3rd term if you go by the fact that you were president of military head of state in 1983. This is your 3rd term, and the despicable 3rd term for that matter. And it's Atiku's 3rd term as well, because he's been vice president twice. And then you want to be president, that's 3rd term. Atiku wants to come and do Obasanjo's 3rd term. That's the plan. The 3rd term Obasanjo couldn't fulfill that time. Atiku is coming for it. So, we should also thank Pastor Oladele, who is the leader of the Genesis Global. That's the Celestial Church of God. Genesis. Is it different from Celestial? No, it's the same. It's the Genesis Global, It's the digital, section of the Celestial Church. I love him, and we met with him today. Pretty cool guy, and he allowed me to share his altar. There's a podium, as we call it. Yes. Somebody's asking me to clean my face. Thank you very much. It's very hard, to maintain the same face. I came with a baby face to this campaign. I'm moving with an old man's face, man. Nigeria will just... it's hard. Anyways, so with regards to the IDP camp, if there's any one of you who want to support those guys we saw yesterday, please do let us know. You can reach out to us on our WhatsApp number. It's
Somebody already signified interest.
yes. WhatsApp number is 0818-823-7529 or 818-823-7529. If you want to support them directly, we don't want a situation where say you collect money on behalf of refugees, you didn't get to them. It has to be directly. We'll link you up with them. We have contacts there. Please, we should totally support them. It's heartbreaking, very heartbreaking. So we have election updates. How many days to election is today?
10.
10 days to election. Is it 10 or 11? 11, yes. So if you're out there, let you know this very historic election is 11 days away. How many people are watching before?
609.
Wow, that's pretty good. But let's share. And we also have coming up tonight some of our celebrities who are signed up with us, and they will be coming up. Yes, we already have somebody in the house.
We have Sheyman in the
house. Come share the couch with us, man. You're welcome, man.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet
Finally.
you. It's my pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much.
Can I get my laptop?
Yes. Yes, you have a laptop. You are so digital.
We need a digital president, so that's why we're here.
Yes. Cool. Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming, and we were. It was brought to our attention that we've been kind of struggling with our celebrities, trying to let them understand that at every juncture in the history of every country, people who enjoy public trust must not keep silent, especially when there are difficult decisions to be taken and difficult positions to be made. So, a few people have come up, and the others are still struggling. I think they're struggling because of other situational variables. The kind of places they put their hands, the kind of allegiances they have, and loyalties that is holding them down. Or principalities, they have hopped into the bed with. So, but it's nice to meet you. Our viewers are watching you right now, and we'll just kind of introduce yourself to them, and we can have a free flowing conversation tonight.
Yes, my name is Sheyman. I'm from Ogun State. Oluseyi Ademo is my full names, and I'm a musician, music producer, and an entrepreneur.
Wow.
It feels good to be here to talk to, I call him one of the most intelligent human beings in this land.
Wow.
I've been a fan of Sowore Reporters. I've been a fan of you, for a long time now, and I keep, watching. And the moment you stepped out that you wanted to contest, I'm like, okay, I think finally we found someone that has no sting, that doesn't have any affiliation with
the old brigades,
yes, This is what I stand for, and this is what I want to. So that's why,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So one thing that people, I'm excited to meet you. One thing that people ask is, what do you know? You guys are in the celebrity world. What is the problem of celebrities exactly? What do you know that we don't know that is holding them down?
I can tell you for a fact, we Nigerian celebrities, most especially musicians, there's a lot of it's an hypocritical world. They tell you to your face, oh, you're the best, you're my guy. I can die for you, I can do this for you. Behind you is something
else. Doing deals.
It's something else. So some of them actually have the intentions of supporting, but like you rightly said, they've already dug their hands in different.
It's what I told Oke Bakashe when I interviewed with him recently on the other news set. There are a lot of leaders, when they say people have goodwill, there's a point where you get to you only have the good, you don't have the will.
You don't have to.
So a lot of them have good in their mind, but have no will to carry on. And in the process, they are collecting goods. Yeah, so
Interesting.
thank you so much. So, I mean, for young people as well, you also, one of the burdens you carry as a musician, producer is that, you have a lot of young people out there, they're struggling, their pains, their aspirations. What do you think what do you think most young people want to see, especially the ones you meet in a different Nigeria? What do they want to see differently in this country?
Change.
Yeah.
Pretty much. People want to see change. But the unfortunate thing about it is, even within my
Circle.
estates,
Yes.
put it that way.
Yeah.
They say they want change. They don't want this person, they don't want that person, but they want a newer person. They want a younger president. I'm like, so who do you think? They don't know.
Wow.
So I tell them, have you heard about so and so? They say, yeah, but he doesn't have the political clout and all that stuff. I'm
He doesn't have the money.
Because people tend to believe money is success in the
Yeah,
world.
that's true.
So
That's true.
if you don't have a lot of it, then they think you cannot. So I said to them, like, is this how you want to change the situation? Like by just voting for somebody that already that is a failure. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you want to now change the situation when why not try somebody else that you
Something new.
Something new, and then this is good.
Yeah. Someone was saying today, which is very interesting. It's nothing philosophical. I said, there are a lot of people in Nigeria, when they hear about, technology, they want to buy the latest iPhone, they want to buy the latest Samsung, they want to buy the latest cars. But when it's time to choose leaders, they go for the oldest, the oldest model and the oldest version. In fact, the one that is already out of circulation, the type that, the spare parts are no longer available.
Right.
That's that there's no way you can find Buhari spare parts for market or Atiku spare parts.
I think
if they were like cars.
I think it's as a result of frequent, when you spoil something too much and it gets so bad that they get used to that badness, and then it becomes part of them. They
can't think outside of the box.
So I think that's the situation with Nigeria.
Wow.
Nigerians. So, but we have to really the youth have to really do a lot of work to make sure, we create awareness and make sure people really stand for the best and positivity.
Thank you. I see you have some questions.
Yeah, I do have
or even some conversational points. Yes, and my goodness, you should have sent me this in Expo.
But it's something it's something you just answer like because you're ready. You're always ready. And I know that for a fact.
Thank you.
Yes, politics is a very expensive
game.
Yeah. Venture or whatever you call it. So, but you already answered it because you said there's been support from
regular people. Yes.
So, do you think that is enough to bankroll this movement?
What I say is that what we have is enough, but maybe I said it's inadequate, but it's enough. Yes. The reason why we say it's enough is that for what we want to achieve, we have another person in the house. Azadus in the building.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
This is our next president.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Thank you, guys. So yes, you can never have enough politically. In fact, in life, you can never have enough. But one thing we say is that when the desirable is not available, the available becomes desirable. And we enjoy way more than money. There's plenty of goodwill. We went to Benin yesterday. Somebody handed over an accounting to us and said, "This is the money I've raised without your knowledge to carry out the work that."
Awesome.
We were shocked, and they came from people we had no idea existed. Some of them we know about, And the same is happening all over the country. People are contributing to people to organize. They're printing posters, printing T-shirts with that knowledge. So, and when you look at the time put into doing this, look, if we're going to have you on a show tonight to perform, you are not going to charge us free. It's not going to be free. That's, but you're bringing your time. You actually sat down, you wrote down questions, and you came here. How do we, quantify that? That's what is combined together to make me feel like, even though it might be inadequate, it's enough because there's a lot of sweat equity in this.
Right, sweat equity.
Yes.
I say it's a movement.
It is.
It's not just a...
Yes.
So, I have this other question.
Yeah.
This country has gone to a stage where we feel or we think 4 years is not enough
to fix anything.
build.
Yeah.
So do you think you stand a chance of doing this in 4 years?
Absolutely.
So do you? Okay, so put it this way. Do you have like a timeline for
There's
in terms of your
There's a
policies?
template, there's a timeline. For example, let's take electricity, which is major priority for us. Yeah. Timeline is 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Yes. To fix electricity to the point
Once
that...
we'll remind you. You said 2.5.
I'm telling you.
You know, corruption is inclusive.
No, yeah, I understand, but
hurdles.
the hurdles are there. We understand how these things work. We don't forget that this is not just brain power. It's a function of exposure. That most of us who are doing this have also traveled and seen the other parts of the world. What I tell people is that I've seen the best and the worst of both worlds. What are the best? Probably if you compare Nigeria and the US, these are two extreme poles, right?
Yeah.
I've seen the worst of Nigeria. I've seen the best of America. I've also seen the worst of America. In fact, the most corrupt street in the world is in the US. It's called Wall Street.
Wall Street. Oh,
Yeah.
the same Wall Street.
Yes. Yeah. Those guys there. Have you ever? What's that movie? Is it Wolf of Wall Street? Yes, some movie like that. If you watch it, you see how the corruption works over there. But the way it works is that it's different from our own. Our own is called primitive accumulation. Like somebody sees something that is meant for everybody, keeps taking it to the point that he becomes even a victim of that. There are people who would buy a brand new car in Nigeria, they will import cars, and they forgot the roads upon which to drive them. That's what primitive accumulation does to your brain, and it's a function of, it's a function of a philosophical disorder as well, a psychological disorder.
Psychological
disorder that people are afraid, that if they don't take more than enough, they can't survive in this kind of a system. There was a study done after the Second World War on the number of children that experienced the war. They put them in a place like this glass house. They put enough food. They said to them, about 10 of them, there's going to be enough food to last you for the rest of your life. Go ahead and eat, play. They give them everything. When the children came, they started noticing that they don't eat. They don't eat. They go and look at the food. You have not eaten your food. Then one day they went and looked at them and said, where do you keep the food? They were keeping the food in their small pockets. Then they asked them, why are you keeping? There's enough food. He said, well, because of if another war happens, we want to have enough. So it's in the brain. So what happened is that they realized that even if you keep all the food in your pocket cannot contain enough to last you when another war comes.
Exactly.
But it's already, a lot of people are psychologically damaged, especially our leaders here.
That's what
So, but just to go back to your question, a lot of things can be achieved in 4 years, a lot,
So you say
Electricity, 2.5 years. And our plan is very direct. We will grow the electrical grid through renewables, gas, renewable solar energy. It's big technology now. They did it in Egypt. If you are flying into major cities in the US, Canada, Europe now, you see on the plane, winds, you see what they call solar farms. Those things can generate huge amount of electricity. It takes not a long time to put them together. It will provide employment for a lot of people. There's a way you grow electricity that people can be selling electricity the same way they sell recharge cards. Yeah, people don't know this already, but this is how easy it is for us to grow electricity. But we need to dismantle some of our laws, of course, dismantle the cabals that are selling generators. Because you cannot be voting for a generator seller. And
Those are my guys.
Yes.
Boss, I have a question.
Go ahead, man.
I posted this question like last week on Instagram, and I'll just like to know, Nigeria is not, we don't practice military rule, which also means that, a president-elect would
how to go through
due process
institutions. Yes.
So how do you intend to manage this? Now, we all know you're an upright man. You want to do, stuff. You want to do stuff for a great country. But there are a lot of wolves out there who just want to, keep milking the country.
Yeah.
So how do you intend to, because it's quite. It may not be too. From my own point of view, I don't think it's going to be too easy. Getting through this order.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you have, plans.
Most especially when policies are affecting these people's businesses.
Yeah. No, I understand completely. But every country that wants to break away from this kind of strangulating on that development, that's my own definition of arrested development.
You remember arrested development?
Yeah. So is that you have to have a leader who is willing to step on toes. Imagine that with the People's Democratic Party government spent $16 billion to generate darkness. That was how much was spent in the electricity. There was no hold in their way. That money was stolen.
It feels like I'm dreaming.
So, but
billion
that's
dollars.
officially. This is the official money that was taken by the Obasanjo regime from the Central Bank of Nigeria and invested in the electricity sector.
Oh my God.
Buhari has also confirmed it. The documents are all there. But today they didn't add a single wattage of electricity to it. But go to Egypt. Siemens and a company, the national company in charge of electricity in Egypt, Orascom, they built 14,000 megawatts of electricity with half that amount. And from the day they started and delivery, it was 2.5 years. And how many households were hooked up to 40 million households?
40 million.
Yes. From generation to transmission and distribution, 2.5 years. You can Google this, it's out there. It happened also in Tunisia. In fact, if you go to Libya today, we have a guy who calls us, who is a regular caller on this show. He lives in Libya. He said he can never come to Nigeria. His internet is better. His electricity is better in Libya, war-torn Libya. So whatever is happening here is as a result of leadership, and leadership that is connected to the cabals that we have. Part of the reason why we don't raise money from the cabals is because the moment you can cut out the cabals from the presidency of Nigeria, you have a presidency that is free to do a lot of good things. But if you are beholden to cabals, you have to give them, you have to give them importation licenses, you have to be giving them free oil, you have to give them contracts that they don't implement. I had someone, you guys probably have heard this story before of people who got contracts. They even want to do it. They go to the officials, they say, "Did we ask you to implement the contract?"
Wow.
Go and bring the money, let's share it according to a particular percentage.
That's why we need change.
So that is what is pervasive in Nigeria. So you have an upright man at the center. I wish that we had a way of showing a video that is circulating from Singapore. There was a guy who spoke recently on Singapore about how they ended corruption in Singapore. Singapore right now has almost zero corruption. Because, yes, one of their ministers who was corrupt.
Oh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, they arrested a guy. And that was the moment you start playing with the big guys. He said, if you want to end corruption, don't go after people stealing goats. And yams.
Start from the top.
Don't go after snakes and monkeys. Go after human beings at the top. You know, in our own case, we are rewarding them with chieftaincy titles, deacons and deaconesses of churches. We are rewarding them with
Policemen,
you know,
escorts.
police escorts. You know, it's one of the things that as president of Nigeria, I'm withdrawing all the policemen first and foremost because it's those policemen that give them a sense of invisibility. If they know that when you don't implement a contract, your village people can relay you. You will go and do the contract, but the moment you get Mupo
even if you get a contract, there's profit.
No, they have already built the profit into the contract. That's why it's called a contract.
Yes.
You have already, before you start the contract, you've already built, and for every contract, there is a start date and an expiry date. Part of our problem is that we don't have transparency. As president of Nigeria, I will make sure that there's a portal for all the contracts and whatever by the federal government. This is the contract. This is the date of signing. This is the name of the company. These are the directors of the company. We upload it there, you know, so that you know where they are. Yes. And this is the day this contract is supposed to, you know, be completed. If you then don't complete your contract, you have some problem with the communities. You cannot then be running around that, you know, you go and carry mopo. It's not happening on that one. And the reason why it's different with me is that I have been fighting these guys as Sahara reporters all by myself without any governmental support. So I hope that is clear. We can get a lot done in 4 years, and we can get a lot more done in 8 years. But let's start with 4 years.
Sorry, let me just...
Because I wanted to say before you go that even this Dubai everybody is running to, most of the framework and you know the building you see there was done within 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, most of the major developments in Dubai were done within, and then what you saw is just icing on the cake on a regular basis. No, but I didn't know about Dubai when I left Nigeria in 1999, 20 years ago. Dubai, I think there's actually a documentary about how they built Dubai, you know, that you can watch. It started with an idea, it was a desert, no water, nothing. But now, it is the same Nigerian money that is running the place.
That's right.
I mean, partially. Yes, you have a question.
Yes. Our Senate.
Yes.
You know, a lot of Nigerians feel, a lot of Nigerians feel they are overpaid. And
it's not a lot of Nigerians. Most, they are overpaid.
No, make it not be like say,
no, you don't have to be afraid.
14 million naira a month.
Yes.
I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you think you know there is something you can do about this? That's on one hand, and on the other hand, you know, me, I'm a musician. I'm an entertainer.
Yeah.
Sheyman is also an entertainer.
Yes.
You know, I think our industry, we've not, you know, had, you know, the kind of respect that I believe
you deserve.
We deserve. Do you think, you know, your when you become the president of this country by the grace of God, do you feel there is a way you can, because I believe there's a lot of money to be made, you know, from this
entertainment. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so do you feel?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let me answer the question first about the Senate. The Senate is gaming the Nigerian state and Nigerian people. We've looked at allowances. They're not entitled to more than ₦1 million a month.
Don't you think that's too small?
No, it's not too small. If you are paying, okay, let's start by paying everybody minimum wage of 30,000 naira, and let's see who will be going to Senate. You know, it's not too small. That is about $3,000 a month for somebody who doesn't even.
Did you hear what he said?
Yes.
If they are paying the Senate 30,000 naira, as per
nobody will go to the Senate.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody owe your Senate. I know they do.
So what I'm saying here is that, so you look at it, you have senators earning maximum wage.
Wow.
And then you have workers earning minimum wage. And mixing their own maximum wage is infinity. Nobody can. They determine their own. But when we then talk about, let's pay our workers minimum wage of 100,000 starting point, they say,
a problem.
It's going to cause inflation.
Yes.
But their own, not the cost inflation now.
because they are minimal, they are 190.
No,
right?
but what we did is that first look at it from this point of view. If my dad, worked as a teacher for for almost 40 years before he died, and let's say he's earning minimum wage of 30,000, it will take him 38 years to earn the monthly salary of a senator.
Oh my God.
Just
Is
one
that
month.
fair?
1 month.
But look at what is their budget. Their budget is about 1 trillion naira. It's more than 1 trillion naira per year
Budget
of the National Assembly. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So the minimum wage, if we are paying our workers minimum wage of 100K, the additional cost to our budget will be about 1.3 trillion. Same amount that. Yes, just additional to what we have now. And it will mean that they are doing their work. In fact, we saw some policemen who are saying, okay, if you pay minimum wage, we're not going to collect bribe anymore.
It's as simple as that.
We go dismantle roadblock. Well, I tell you, whether minimum wage or no minimum wage, under our government, roadblocks are going away, whether you like it or not. But that's the reality. You want somebody not to be corrupt, even for a starting point. Pay them a living wage.
Yes.
What is a living wage? Is the wage that you take home that can at least pay for your basic needs. How much does a person eat per day? You at least, what they are paying now shows that if you eat 1,000 naira per day, your salary is gone.
It's gone.
Because
Absolutely, it's gone.
hunger doesn't know weekend or Saturday. Whether you work or not, you have to eat now.
You have to.
So if you eat 1,000 naira per day, your 30,000 naira is out. So how do you then get to work? How do you pay for medicine when you have malaria? How do you pay for your children's school fees?
NEPA
bills, which is
You don't
our
have light
average
bill to
calculation
collect.
of NEPA bill is 6,000 naira per month. Yeah, that is if you have prepaid meter. We've done all these calculations and come to the point that it's not that we are doing workers a favor for paying them 100,000. But if you pay them 100,000, let's assume that you pay them 100,000. They can go to a mortgage bank and take 2 million naira mortgage. Then they'll be paying back 20,000 per month to the bank. And that becomes the establishment of their own credit worthiness, as they call it in the US. And you can even borrow on top of that if your credit worthiness is intact. So you have to have a way to inject funds by giving workers the purchasing power. Because the federal government is the biggest employer of labor pretty much in Nigeria. So it has a responsibility to ensure that people who are working with the federal government at least can afford to, and the moment you do that, you create a local economy that is vibrant. Because when people earn minimum wage, they spend the money here. When they earn maximum wage, they take the money out.
Excellent,
Like you
sir.
said.
Yeah.
I like that.
Take it back!
Like you said, it's wealth distribution.
Yes.
Not wealth generation.
Creation. Yeah, we don't have a problem with that. Nigeria has shown over these years that we are creating wealth. In fact, we are in a default mode when it comes to wealth creation. We don't have to do much to get wealth.
Right.
If you require brain power to create wealth in Nigeria will be the poorest country in the world.
That's right.
Because our leaders have
Powers of our leaders.
Yes, I'm talking about for the leaders, not the people. And that comes to the entertainment sector. You guys are the people who are actually keeping Nigeria on the map of the world right now. That's why you deserve honor and respect. But the question is for us to sit down and say, what do you need for you to be respectable? What can government do for you? But for you to get respect, you can't afford to be a prostitute.
That's right.
That's what is killing the entertainment industry today, is that the moment the presidential election is coming, everybody is just hawking themselves around. How do you expect people to respect you when you are there with a bowl in your hand begging everybody for? But how can you get respect is you look at what are the things you need, what are the tools for your trade? How do you get it without becoming a slave to another person? What is your contractual process? Are there legal frameworks for you to break out of it if it's enslaving you? Just like you have in soccer. There's a lot of things but it's something that we can all have a conversation around, because you guys are powering the world with your creativity, with your brain power.
Now, no go clap for us now.
Yeah.
Take it back.
Take it back.
Action.
West Africa, or even in the other parts of the world, three things that remind you of Nigerian movies, Nigerian music, and JJ Okocha.
That's right.
Yes. So,
Boss, you know, you said something about 100,000 naira as
a living wage.
a living wage,
Yes.
but you know, I'm seeing it from the point of view, from some other point of view.
Yeah.
You know, I feel the 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira, based on
200 or
No,
or
100,000.
200,000 naira, even 200,000 naira.
Yeah.
increasing it now.
Yeah, you know, at the rate at which our economy is deteriorating and our money, you know,
The
keeps,
value of the naira.
you know, going down, I think the same thing would, you know, keep, you know, happening. I think I don't know, I'm just talking from my own
No problem. Go ahead.
entertainment.
Entertainment economics.
So I feel taking the bull by the horn would mean, you know, working on the economy such that, you know, the value of our naira would increase. So that if you are paying that 100,000 naira or even 50,000 naira, you can buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if you have 200,000 naira and you are not able to buy a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
it becomes the same thing.
That's very good. The point here is you are talking about production.
Yes, please.
You know, you are talking about the value of naira cannot be legislated into existence. If you like, you can say that your naira is equal to $1. It doesn't buy you anything if you are not producing. But how can you kickstart your economy by producing? Is to actually incentivize people who are working now to be productive.
Right.
So it's going to be a number of things happening at the same time. If the value of the naira increases, of course, the volume of naira will mean that you have more money. If, you know, in the US, you can't be paid $100,000 a month. It will be too much money. You understand?
much money.
But it's because of the value of their currency based on the production capacity of the state. So that one can be readjusted if you are in the productive business, if you are producing. But how can you produce when you don't have electricity?
When you don't have electricity.
You understand? So if we solve the electricity problem, we solve the power problem, we solve the infrastructure problem, we solve education problem, and you now don't have to go to Benin Republic to go and finish your track because of electricity. This affects you directly, or to finish a movie. It then means that you are in a production game. And then the value of the naira, when it increases, you can adjust the naira. In Ghana, and I'm giving you an example of Ghana. When I went to Ghana in 2005, the value of the cedis was when I exchanged $200 and they gave me it was the first time I became a millionaire in Ghana. They gave me like 1 million cedis. But the moment the economy started to pick up, they readjusted. It's the easiest thing to do. So now in Ghana, in fact, the Ghanaian cedis is almost the value of the dollar. Yeah. But over time, again, it's starting to wear out because it's a function of a number of economic indices, you know, and variables. But look at Africa. The Nigerian naira is even weaker than Liberian dollar. Can you believe that? It's a shame. So when you get in the business of production, when you incentivize your workers, when they have a living wage, people will put in their best. They will work, and your country will be working. And then the issue of whether the value of the naira also is a function of you can just go to the central bank and say, look,
remove 1 0.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That one is a matter of subtraction and addition. And most economists know that out there.
So implementing all these strategies and plans takes a team. Takes other people, the Senate, House of Rep, and all that stuff. So and ministers too.
Absolutely.
So my question is, what are the things you've put in place to select, or your advisors or advisors, put it that way? How do you select these people that they're in line with your vision, in line with your sense of thinking?
What I would say to you is that the president of the country is like the human resources officer of the country. In fact, most countries refer to their presidents as CEOs of the country, it's like the chief executive officer, you know. And interestingly, the office of president is in the executive branch. So you are the CEO. But here, we don't have a CEO as our leader. We have commander-in-chief of the armed forces. It's all about how to whip people, not how to, you know, organize and govern and, you know, have the kind of country where there's transformative leadership. So that's what is killing us. So what we're going to do, and what we're doing already, is we're reaching out to people. Every day we're getting new people. All of these ideas that you see that we're implementing, including the things we want to do, they came from the brain power of people that we're talking about, you know. And this is going to keep getting better. When we win the election, you'll be surprised at the kind of team we can put in place, or we have put in place, but it has to expand, because just like we're meeting you guys now, you are somehow surreptitiously becoming part of the team. Because
did you hear that English? Sowore what? He said my father is a Sowore what?
So we're putting together all these teams, and we're going to put them to work. Because one of the things that killed Nigeria in 2015 was after Buhari, it took him 6 months to even put a cabinet together.
Yeah.
And when they put the cabinet together, there were some of the scums of the. And I'm sorry, when I met the Minister of Communication in Ibadan, I'm looking and say, I understand why the government is so useless, because the guy had no idea. It's not lie, no lie. Lai Mohammed is actually very good at what he does. He was hired to lie. He lies very well, you know. But talking about shit,
I didn't say that.
No, you're hearing from me.
From the boss.
I know all of that.
Adding to what your explanation to him, I think Sahara Reporters is about the most respectable online platform.
Yes.
You know, and the boss has a lot of people
Working,
do you understand, tirelessly to make things happen.
Yeah.
So I believe the boss, who was able to pick people like that to make Sahara Reporters what it is today, has the capacity to.
No problem at all.
And I'm not going to clap for me.
What is interesting is also how many Nigerians are out there within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria who have got, like, you know, like using the word brain power. You'll be surprised. Some of the best doctors in the world are Nigerians working in NASA. I won't be surprised if a Nigerian has been to the moon and back before, but didn't want to announce his name as a Nigerian. You know, because Nigeria can be a liability for you in some places.
Being a Nigerian.
Yeah, being a Nigerian. Yeah, I know people in the US who say, please, I'm a Nigerian, but don't mention it. I don't want people to know, because if they know at my job, they'll think that I'm the one sending all the 419 emails. So the moment that opportunity opens up for them to bring in their assets into the system, you'll be surprised at how things. There are even people, teachers, doctors who want to work for free. Nigerians, they want to work for free, but the space for doing good, as I always say, has become so small. Yeah. So it's just like if you start doing good on your street now, somebody will come and say,
it looks strange.
Yeah, it looks strange, and they will attack you. They're just like, what do you think? Who do you think you are? Because doing good has become commercialized. Yeah. So that's it.
I was going to talk about power intoxication.
Yes.
It's let me not say it's easy to say I'll do this, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But it's actually easy to say. But eventually, when you become the president of this country, do you have something that will constantly
Remind you
of
Do you
where you're
have
from, or
people who would see you as the president, who just see you like, he's my brother, I need to tell him the
My
truth?
point is consciously remind you of your plans so that you don't forget, because power is intoxicating.
Yeah.
You get there and then, there's too many pressures from different angles.
Yeah.
There's too many things to be done, and then, you start losing focus on track on things So is there like if I was in your shoes, of course, you're better than me.
No,
in
not better
terms
than
of
you.
in terms of this,
Yeah.
So I will put measures in place that will, of course, in my business, I have something that will remind me. You have not done this. You have not done that. So are there measures put in place to really, push you?
So what I would say to you is that when an ideal situation, the president is this chief motivator of the workforce in the country. When you hear Obama is not the guy who builds the school. He's not the guy who builds railway. But it's the guy, when they are finished, who goes to talk the talk, to mobilize the nation behind his agenda. And that's the president, that's what the job of the president is. The president actually, when you have very capable hands, you can be a laid-back president. You don't have to stress yourself out. It's when you don't have competent people around you
it becomes a problem.
It becomes a problem. And or you are running your government with the cabal, like we have been having in Nigeria. But to go back to your question directly, the issue of whether you're intoxicated by power or you lose focus is a function of personal consciousness.
Yes.
If you have a sense of
responsibility
and you have a conscience, which some of us have developed over these years, you won't forget anything because you know where you're coming from, you know what you promise people, and you know what can be done. One day one guy came to meet us in this room. I'm not going to mention his name, and he said he was just traveling from the US. He had been a consultant to one of the government agencies in Nigeria, but he kept giving them ideas they won't implement. And it was about how to increase collection of taxes. And he broke it down to us and said, look, forget about oil. If you can get everybody who deducted the money from their employees, your taxes will grow from 35 billion to twice the budget now. We just need a president who doesn't have a friend to call him and say, he started mentioning companies. He mentioned Guinness, that Guinness is supposed to pay 5 billion naira tax. But the moment they go to the tax system, they pay 800, give the people 200, 4 billion is gone, unpaid. He mentioned airlines, KLM, he mentioned all of them like that. And he said, so you imagine when you collect the billions here and there, how many billions can be collected if you are not compromised? But the reason why they do it is that, one, with Buhari, they know Buhari is not aware of his environment. He probably doesn't even know whether he's in Nigeria tonight. So you have to go through the cabals. The cabal collect. Look at what MTN did. MTN took out of Nigeria $13 billion through the SIP Central Bank. We exposed it as a reporter. They did the Kurukere again. They fined them 80 million. The 13 billion is still not accounted for. And that was illegally taken out of the country. Do you know what $13 billion could have done for Nigeria if it was not taken away like that? The money that we're shouting that we were using to fight Boko Haram is just $1 billion. 13, one company made 13. The fact that MTN can even make that money shows that this Nigeria has got potential.
Yes.
Huge potential. So there are 13 billions here and there hiding out. If the president is not a thief and is conscious and is alert and he's mathematical, he can calculate a little bit. I'm not very good with maths, but I know arithmetic. I just So how many people are watching us, by the way?
893.
Wow, so we have a lot of people watching. Okay, we'll do that. So I want to introduce to you guys once again this Azadus to my
hello.
And Sheyman of Sheyman Music is amazing guy. For those of you who are always asking if we have celebrities behind us, these are the real celebs, These are celebrities of conscience.
And then do you know who this is?
The incoming.
This is Niger for sure.
Yeah.
The incoming.
Thank you guys.
So I was going to ask a question, sir.
Yeah.
Our military, we've done a lot for a lot of countries, in Africa.
Yes.
And we are, very, the US know us for that and they respect us for that, But I figured, we just do our stuff. people will call it Osho free. We just go there, we help these countries, and we don't get anything in return.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel that's right? Do you feel that makes any economic sense?
No, it's a function of our foreign policy. You know, our foreign policy over the years have been dictated by what we call Big Brother Africa. Before they started BB Nigeria, BB Africa, we started
That's
it.
a real Big Brother
Yes, we do Big Brother Africa. You know, we're always doing charity for other countries, and over these years, you know, that's what we are known for, and we are known for clearing the mess whenever it happens. We fought against apartheid. You know, we fought in the Congo. We ended 2 wars in Liberia and Sierra Leone. Even Ebola said we put heads the other day. You know, but the reason is that that's what we should be doing. If we get our acts right, it wouldn't be a problem. In fact, we are supposed to be policing the entire African continent.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be our playground. But the moment you don't get it right at home, you are wasting your time. So we actually sat down with foreign policy experts a few weeks ago, and we kept bombarding them with questions about, you know, what could Nigeria do to gain respect? Man, look at us. It's been at the UN for years. They said, look, until we get it right here, nobody's going to respect you outside.
Yes.
So look at South Africa. There, you know, they just treat us like crap. Yes. As we're here tonight, if you're an American citizen, even if you are a Nigerian as well, if you get arrested and the U.S. embassies are aware, they'll come to that police station.
Straight up. Yeah.
You know, in Nigeria, what Nigerians do out there is that if you get arrested, they'll tell the police, don't release him. You know, if you want to deport a Nigerian, you can just go to the embassy and they'll help you deport the person.
You mean the president? Sorry, the president. I don't want to say the Nigerian president could ask the person who did whatever questions like,
Exactly. Yeah, wasn't that what President Buhari said at the public event? You know, and then he called all the young people lazy.
Yeah. I'm not lazy.
Yes.
I wonder.
So, wow, this has been amazing hanging out with you guys.
One last question, because I'm particular about you winning this election.
Yes.
The issue of rigging.
Yes.
You know, it will definitely come to play.
Yeah.
These people are desperate.
Yeah, very desperate.
To the extent of, you know,
they'll do anything.
To Is there anything
What?
maybe you don't want to mention?
Some of it is the ones we can mention are technological in nature. We just developed an app that is an eyewitness kind of app where after you vote, you can just make sure that you stay there, get the result of your polling unit sent to us. So that we have, and I did this before with our reporters 2015. That was how we were able to announce 10 states before they reached those states. So we want to repeat the same thing. But the other ones we can't expose right now because if they find out, of course, they will just adjust their calendar and strategy too. So, but you're right, these guys want to rig this election. In fact, my hunch is that they've already rigged. They're just looking for how to perfect the announcement of the rigging. But they'll be shocked because we have a huge number of people this time around who are really interested in this election in a manner that, especially young people, is unprecedented and they can't get away with.
You know, they can easily rig 100 to 150.
Yes.
But what about when it is 100 to 1,000?
Exactly.
Can you rig that?
And they can rig in their villages, you know, and places they are used to, but they can't rig where they are not popular. And they are not popular right now. They know it.
As a matter of fact, they might be popular in their own way, but they're not making sense.
At all.
You know, they're not.
Did Buhari not just say that they came to power in 2005 to them?
We don't want them.
Yeah.
I actually didn't believe that. He said
that when we came to power in 2005. That's what he said today.
Yeah, that was
Buhari.
He said that today.
Yeah,
Yes,
in Ondo
today.
State. Yeah. Was it Ondo State that
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
That's what they call it.
How did you get?
Okay.
How did you get Nigeria? How did you get?
So I want to say for us, even beyond all the questions we are asking, for me, it's there are things that I can live with and there are things I just can't understand, and it has something to do with being the person I am. It's like, how do we sit down in every election cycle and just lie to ourselves that things are okay when they are not okay? And I've experienced this a lot. There are colleagues in the house. We fought in the student union days. We experienced when some people sat in Nigeria and said, only Babangida can be president of Nigeria, otherwise Nigeria will collapse. Babangida stepped aside. They say, it's only Abacha. Without Abacha died. Then Obasanjo came, they said, it's the father of modern Nigeria, he must do third time. We don't do third time, Nigeria did not collapse. When Obasanjo finished, even when Yar'Adua was dying, they were lying that, Yar'Adua is coming back. Somebody said they see him, he was jogging in the garden. And the guy, even not only regular people, even they carried priests. Yes, they took priests to him. I think it was Adeboye and one imam, chief imam of Abuja. And they came back and said, yeah, we saw him. Yeah, the man is recovering. The man died the next day. I said, why is it that we don't have people who are honest in this country? That their conscience is dictated by bank alerts. It's like, okay, don't worry. You make beside your phone, you'll get alert. And after the alert, you can start prophesying. Say, yeah, God told me this, God told me. I'm like, man, it's just so sad. But if you feel sad about it with older people, how do you deal with young people? You have been, some people, we went to Ghana last week. The Ghanaian airports can qualify for any airport in the world, based on our experience traveling. And you cannot find a Ghanaian who will tell you that things are perfect. They are still complaining. They are like, Charlie, this government is not doing very well. Look at agriculture. Things are not well. There's hunger in the land, But here, people are lying to themselves. I'm looking at when we walked in here, we're watching the rally in Ondo State. You could tell that Buhari is just sitting there. He doesn't even know where he is. Just looking at them, and all of them are like, Sheyman is like, oh wow, this is government is this man is a man of integrity. How can the person know where he is have integrity? But everybody cannot be like that. We cannot tie our future to our esophagus.
We shouldn't. As the youth of the nation, we should
So tonight, guys, beyond just talking to you guys, it's historical for me because some of these little things we're doing, we may not even know it until we see the pictures even tomorrow. If you go back and even watch what we're saying, we're like, wow, did we say this? It's amazing. So it's been a great pleasure meeting you guys, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys in a completely brand new Nigeria. We will make this country work in our lifetime. Sometimes people say, we want to make Nigeria work for our children. No, we'll make it work for yourself.
First.
Yes, first.
Sinoban Johnny, don't jump around, man.
Yeah.
My dad is 87 years old.
Yeah.
He's still hoping for better.
Exactly. So we are too young to be saying that we're doing it for our children. We are still children.
Yes.
Exactly. Make it work for you. Make Nigeria work for you, so that you can drive from here to Kano and come back and you won't be killed or you won't die on the road. You can make it all that. You can sleep with electricity or you can arrive at an airport that is functioning. Did you listen to that African American woman? Did you get the audio?
I heard it.
The woman that was cussing the hell out of Nigerian airport.
Yeah.
It's just how terrible things are that even outsiders feel bad for us. And the reason why they feel bad for us is that they know that things could be different. But it's as if we always choose, we always say anytime there is opportunity for us to get victory, we snatch victory from the jaw of, we snatch victory from the jaw of defeat. We just say, no, we don't want to be free now. Somebody will say,
maybe later.
They'll say, Sowore, you are good for 2023. Like you'll still be alive in 2023 if things continue like this. It's a shame.
What about we have a lot of religious houses, mosques and churches, and from our little.
I think I'll answer that question. Once things go right,
yes,
once things play out right, people actually get busy.
Ojala.
Let me say something to you that I noticed living in New York. The busiest night of the week in New York is Friday night. Because the moment people collect their paycheck on Friday, they are falling in and there will be boogie on Saturday.
This is our president.
You see traffic on all the tunnels, all the bridges going back to New Jersey, or West Connecticut. But on Sunday, you can close your eyes because nobody they go church. Even the Catholic Church said when they had problems, they start selling their churches to clubs. When things are good, people boogie, and when people boogie, God is happy up there. God doesn't like.
No, we need to add one.
Add it.
Niger for
Show.
confirm.
Thank you.
Okay, show is the one. Timo really fell. Can't you see the arrow of his love in the depth of our Wait. Somebody say show.
Show.
Meanwhile, do you know the meaning of Sowore?
Yes. Tell us.
You don't know.
We don't know.
Stay about my hours of when.
Yeah. All right now.
Sowore means trade.
Not be trade that money.
Sowore means trade.
Yes.
And re means smile, be happy.
Yeah.
So when this man becomes the president of our great country, the Owo of Nigeria will become such that we will smile about.
Wow.
Niger for
Man, pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, Azadus. Appreciate you guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just do more housekeeping. So we raise funds as well because this is the only way we can combat these big behemoths that are running the country. They have access to the national treasury right now, and they are using it to buy crowd. They buy. We cannot even afford to put billboards, but our billboards are in the consciousness of our people. Yes, we have bigger billboards that they do. Yes, please, yes, this is yes.
I like yellow.
Wow. Fantastic.
I like green and white.
Yeah.
Green, white, green.
Yes.
Red.
And we are straight.
Yes, thank you. Thank you guys so much.
I'm finding biscuits.
You know how they say it in South Africa? I say, take it back. Yes. So, just quickly, if you guys want to take a break, no problem, so that you can. Thank you so much. Thank you. Nice meeting you. I'm excited to meet you guys. Very excited. And, see you guys soon. So, let me do quick announcement. Yes. Okay. This. Yes.
Okay, I'm good.
This way. Yeah. This Wally Sentimental. You guys welcome the town crier himself. Have a seat. Town crier from New York. Do you think he's still with here?
This one.
Why did you come with throw it down there, please? Yes. Huh? Yes. Can we take photos before you go? Oh, we'll do that. Huh? Okay, okay. We'll take pictures after that. Sorry, guys. AY from Maryland, Republic of Maryland.
Republic of Maryland.
This guy is from Republic of Brooklyn. Republic of Rockaway. Deji, please now. Come and be our guest now. Watch it. Yes. It's amazing this evening. Yes. Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Pat.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Naija for show for Naija.
Thank you so much. Let me quickly do some announcements. This Ayo Ajayi, he just came all the way from the US to be part of this election. And this is Dimeji Ayanwale. Who is the town crier on Dr. Damage's show? How's the show?
No, it's going good.
Yes. And it's winter, and that's why you forgot to remove your.
No, I was just coming from the stage right away, so I haven't changed up yet.
Yes, and this is my most respected colleague from the University of Lagos in those days, man. This guy is one of the most rugged student activists, Speaker of the House. His name is Deji Kolawole. We just want to do a little bit of housekeeping, which is to announce how much we made since the last show. According to our accountant, Jill Chalk. You know her?
I know.
Yes. So our challenge, which is 10K Nigerians to donate 10K each since 17th of December, we have now reached 228 donors.
Wow.
We want for 400 Nigerians to donate $1 million, only 3 so far, no problem. We're doing well at the lower levels, yeah. So the amount donated since the last fundraising event on January 28th. No, this is not January. I think our last event was February, what? I think there's an error here. Anyway, February 3rd, yes. It's 1,471,640 naira. And on GoFundMe is $3,400. Wow. So far, Zenith Bank is now at 63 million. That's a local account. 669,017 naira. While GoFundMe is 52,933,522 naira, which is equivalent of $147,859. So we're approaching. This is cumulative from the day we started. So impressive. But what we're trying to see here, what we're seeing here, is that this is consistently growing as we approach the election. That shows that the confidence level of our people is pretty high. Yeah. So we mention names of our donors, except those who have indicated I don't want to be mentioned. This is a lot of donors here. We have Osazuwa Festus who gave us 100 naira. That's a lot of money. Adeniji Oluwatosin Oluwaseun, 200 naira.
Thank you.
She's coming for herself. Obanikoro Oluwajerimi Ayobami, 500 naira. That's how you know that person is not from the real Obanikoro family. Yes. These are not the ones that are stealing. John Ogeshi Oraizu is 500 naira. Malogun Titi, 800 naira. Kayomavuru Ebosa, 1,000 naira. Eyibio Edogensi Samuel, regular donor, 1,000 naira. Edai Charles, Iro Gama, 1,000 naira. Ogunde Abolaji Dada, 1,000 naira. Ikechukwu Zeribe, 1,000 naira. Adeleke Olatunji Rashid, 2,000 naira. Tolulope Oluwatosin Odunjinri is 2,500. Kende Adejuma Adewi, 5,000 naira. Obina Ifanyi Okwarozo, 5,000 naira. Akuye Adriano Adedayo, 5,000 naira. Okay. This is Peter Olufemi Paul, 5,000 naira. Adebambo Oriyomi Robinson, 5,000 naira. Terry Sue Babatunde, 5,000 naira. Mohammed Abdul Wahab, 6,200. Anonymous for 7,000 naira. Kalabi Adeyinka Nathaniel, 7,000 naira. Michael Osaye Kewe, 7,000 naira. Ademola Ezekiel, 10,000 naira. Another anonymous for 10,000 naira. Azak Korede Christiana, 10,000 naira. Abalola Haruna Damola, 10,000 naira. Fabi Christiana Fumilayo, 10,000 naira. Uwasewa Rio, 10,000 naira. Anonymous for 10,000 naira. Success Edis Joe, 10,000 naira. Omega Simon Tekimbi, 10,000 naira. Onobanjo Abisola, 10,000 naira. Paul Ehize for Akoji, 10,000 naira. Alumi Adigun A, 10,000 naira. Joshua Gabriel Obano, regular donor, 10,000 naira. Omo Kegbe, KE, 10,000 naira. Adegun David, that's 10,000 naira. Adeniyi Aziz Aloba, 10,000 naira. Sadiq Gerard Olufemi, 14,000 naira. Aroke Joshua Oluwajuwon, 15,000 naira. Alabi Olaide Oluwaseun, 20,000 naira. Salu Peter, 20,000 naira. Nwangu Doris, 20,000 naira. K-Banks Innovative Link Services, regular donor, 20,000 naira. Adeniyi Sunday Adedokun, 20,000 naira. Obateru Francis Ido, 20,000 naira. This came from Fondren Logistics, this is from outside the country, 20,064 naira. Sakiru K. Idris, 23,500 naira. Okoyo George, 30,000 naira. Abiodun Oluwafunmilayo, 40,000 naira. Ajaguna Adedotun Yemi, 50,000 naira. Omorogbe Bernard Nosakari, 50,000 naira. Adelusi Olumuyiwa Olufemi, 20,000 naira. ASP payments, 40,000 naira. 150 naira. There's an anonymous 300,000 naira for Jingle. Elizabeth Onibogi, 30,000 naira. Skunle Ogumbi, 20,000 naira. Moses David Olasupo, 132,000 naira. 160 naira. Adewumi Akim Bolahon, 10,000 naira. Evans Okafo, 15,000 naira. Olaleye Matthew, this is 180,000 naira from the UK.
From the UK, Matthew. Thank you.
Akinseli Raymond Akinyinka, 100,000 naira. Holloway Olubukola Gbemisola, 25,000 naira. Oyeyemi Oyeleya Biodun, 5,000 naira. Wow, the GoFundMe list is long, but we must go through it. Yeah. Oscar Onu, $100. Kemi Shenkoya, $35. This is Obianuju Ogbokiri. Wow. So he said he's a member of FGCK 1989. Which school is FGCK?
That's FGC Kaduna.
Kaduna. Wow.
College, Kaduna.
This was, is that not where Malcolm went to school?
Yeah.
That's where he got messed up. Yes. Laura Douglas, $5. Obianuju donated 20, yes. Elizabeth Ayodele, $200. Udeme Iyan, $1,000.
Action.
Laura Douglas, $5. Felix Okay, $50. Steve Owulako Emasile, $10. Ayuka Banino, $25. Olatunji Afolabi, $10. Abiola Awolola, $40. Ade Olutosin, $50. Nwakama Nwafo, $100. There's an anonymous Chicago supporter for $200. Ike Zegwa, $500. Let's mention that we're starting to see donations from non-Nigerians.
Yes.
But who believe in this cause. But we understand that there's an electoral position on that. Yeah, because the guy sitting to my left is a lawyer. So he's always, just to tell you that we have a full house of people who advise us. So those kind of donations are separated from the ones that go into the election proper. So that's if they indicate that they're not Nigerians. So we don't have more than 2 or 3 of that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. So if you are thinking that you can catch us on that one. Now you know. Edus Aldaro, $200. Olayinka Dada Bello, $30. Andrew Egoho, $100. Uwache Ibamishaye, this is regular donor, $200. Kesa Anande, $10. Osaho Ohigiatos, regular donor, $100. Wale Jimo, $20. Adebukola Fergus, regular donor, $40. There's a Haiti for Sowore, $20. $20. Haiti, yes. Yes. Yeah, this is Adebukunola Salimonu, $100. Kenny Joker, Moritala Kenny, yeah, I know him, $20. Lukman Leary, regular donor, $20. It's Vendra Hammer, $80. Elo Ejegre, $10. Tolulope Edujuri, on the GoFundMe side again is $30. And Gladys Adeniji, $20. Special mention are people in the categories that are more than 50,000 naira Nigerian money. So Yemi donated 50,000. That's Ajaguna Adedotu Yemi. Omoregbe Bernard Nosakari, they're all 50,000. Akinsele Raymond Akinyika 100,000. The one for Jingles Anonymous is 300,000. Moses David Olasupo 132,161. Olale Matthew 180K.
UK.
Yeah.
Matthew.
And of course, Udeme Inyang gave us $1,000, equivalent of 358K.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. You have some US?
Yes.
Okay. Some people donated. Ike Zegwa for 500 is 179K equivalent of that. $200 is Elizabeth Ayodele, anonymous Chicago supporter, Edosa Daro, Ruasheyi, Bamishaye. Thank you guys. So, I will talk briefly about Digi here.
Sorry, before you do that,
Yes.
let me just quickly say one thing.
Yes.
First of all, this is my first time on
On the
couch.
couch. Yeah.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
We appreciate everybody that has donated, no matter how much or how
How
little.
little it is.
In fact, I'm more impressed with somebody that donated 100 naira.
Nah, yes. We said
Why? Because
that's probably all they have.
if you are able to donate 100 naira to a cause, it means that you believe so much in that cause.
Yes.
And if you had much more than that, you
will have.
probably donate. Because the principle of donation is probably like you donate 5 to 10% of whatever you have that is spare change.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it means the person probably doesn't have more than 1,000 naira. And to donate 100 out of that is a lot of money.
It is.
So we really appreciate those guys who have donated what you can, $5, 100 naira, 200 naira. You know, those are really the big guys. We should be thanking them. It is a worthwhile thing. Secondly, is to say that this kind of account giving, accountability, is what we require in our country.
Yeah.
Today we have a president who claims that he has integrity and that he's honest, but we do not have this kind of forum where he can say, this is how much
They've donated.
we have donated
campaign,
today or last week or
Or
last
we
year
donated.
or we've got from people.
There's
You
no
know,
transparency.
And I would like to urge my brother here, when you get into power, even if it is for 1 hour, you can do this kind of thing
Yes.
every day.
Probably not every day.
Probably not every day, but at least once a week.
Yes.
To
But
be
we'll
in
be-
connection
we'll be
with the
doing-
Nigerian people.
Yeah.
To say,
absolutely.
okay, this is what we are doing. Even if people do not have, and I'm sure that people can have the chance to ask you questions on the different social media platforms. But even if they do not, the fact that you are able to give account on a daily basis. We saw what happened
State of the
with
nation.
apologies and with due respect to Mrs. Ezekwe Sili's
Yeah.
estate. When people came out and tried to rubbish her
Yeah.
and say, oh, she did this and this, that. She now had to call a world press conference to address how much they got throughout the campaign.
Yeah.
If they've been doing this kind of a thing
It wouldn't
on a
have been
daily
an-
basis,
it
it
would
would
have
have
been an
been
issue
totally
with that
unnecessary.
one, yeah.
Yes.
You know, so this is the kind of accountability that we require from those who say they want to lead us.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
if we voted you into power, you should be able to give account. You are a representative
Of
of
the
the
people.
people. there. It doesn't
And
mean...
you are a custodian of the people's wealth,
Exactly,
and their money.
exactly.
You
And
can't
so
just
you
sit
must,
down
you
there.
must, it does not belong to you.
Yeah.
And so you must give account of how you spend it and how you got it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say quickly.
Thank you so much. And just, to add to that, we just got a collection from New York, people who have made donations from New York. Let's quickly go through them.
Just gonna say their names.
Yes, Yomi Agosa for $604. Prince Olade Oladimeji, $700. Mr. Ojo Oluwakayode, $649. Joe Udaze, this is a good friend of
Yes,
mine,
Joe.
$100. Jimmy Fash, yeah, I know you too, $200. And Miss Tone Williams, yes. And it says it's $425 and $90 for Lukman Lawa. Lukman Lawa just said I went to the yesterday. And Dimeji Lawa, the town crier himself, $388. Tunji Oshinaike, $208. Ololade Tosin Elulade, a lot payment said $80. Rose, my favorite Rose in the world. Rose Zewoko is $511. Now, give her a round of applause. Baba Moses Mabayoje, $100. Lukman Lawa, $250. Dari Anigioro. We used to call him Anigoro and he's not upset. Anigioro, yes. $500. Ojo Emmanuel, $100. Thank you, Ojo. That day I did with you, $100. Yemi Alimi, $200. Tayo Adewuni, it's different from Adewumi. Yes. $52. Omotayo Awoyemi, $140. And Adeyemi La Crown. La Crown himself, $60. Thank you guys so much. Yeah. So, AY, how was your trip? You just came in today?
Yeah, this evening.
Yeah.
It's nice, good.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's nice seeing all of you. Take it back.
Yeah, I think in the present you're missing something in the US. I think the cold, if you had been in the US last week.
That's why I'm running for president. I don't have any plans to go back there.
It was in single digits and the wind chills in the minus degrees.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's really
Mark
brutally
was
cold.
breaking it down to us that the freezing point for water is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes.
So if you are at minus 20, your blood veins will freeze.
Yes, and I know you very well that even
I don't like cold.
even if it's chilly a little bit, you'll be.
For me, cold weather is at 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's too cold for me. Anything that requires that I have to put on a jacket.
Yes, you don't like it at all.
And it's the reason why, we gotta love our country. It's like we are blessed with everything, including great weather. But we are missing one major thing, great leaders.
Yes, we were watching the Benin stuff.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We are amazing.
They did well. They did well. He said.
We thought Ibadan was the best, but
Benin
Benin, they killed it.
Benin was awesome.
It's amazing.
I mean, we watch it and we like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, people are really.
And that's organic.
Yes,
Nobody was
paid to come to the rally.
Yeah. The people came, and people were with us from the time we arrived at the airport until we left, until we went to sleep last night. In fact, we were supposed to proceed to Auchi, but because we had a scheduling conflict, we had to come to Lagos. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes, it was awesome.
So, but we're back on the road again soon. Thank you guys a lot, and maybe we can check and see if we have any donations that's just coming. People are always making donations to us on GoFundMe and Zenith Bank. And by the way, PayPal, we need the accounting of PayPal because some people are making donations. We need full accounting of that. And also, if there's any Zelle that's gone to the account in the US.
Then I want to say this: Abuja, get ready. We'll come in live.
Yes, Abuja. Yes, Abuja. And we're planning something for Lagos too. Yes. We're going to be at Etiosa on 7th. Yes. Yes, and we're working on some other places. We'll keep you updated. Don't be too far from us.
He's the chairman of TSA local government.
Oh yeah, Chairman Emeritus.
Yes, that is his catchment area.
Yeah.
So,
Babalola Alaba, 1,000 naira. Olamide Kelly Thomas, 1,000 naira. Teresa Ewohimi, 10,000 naira. Thank you, Teresa. Ade Damola Sheye Akintoye, 2,000 naira. Adegbala Fatai Adetunji, 2,000 naira. Owojero Frank Onoseware, 1,000 naira. DK Austin Okachukwu, 20,000 naira. DK Lomo Helen Adekunle, 1,000 naira. Johnson Sonjo Towoju is 1,500 naira. Christian Alabama Akene is 10,000 naira. Right for Derek Semelu, 10,000 naira. Imadwere Destiny, 20,000 naira. Ah, wow. Awonbiowo Saeed Adeola, 10,000 naira. There's a word remit here for 30,000 naira. And Oyeyemi Oyeleya Abiodun, 5,000 naira. Kule Gumi, 20,000 naira. Holloway Olubukola Bumisola, we mentioned that for 25,000 naira. Thank you guys. Yes, we want to mention, honorable mention Dotun.
The coordinator USATIB.
Yes, amazing guy.
Wonderful things.
That's Dotun, man.
Yeah, Doche. How do you keep it up, man? D-O-T, strong man. Doche is strong. D-O-T,
And Tower.
Tower.
UK.
Yes. And also, again, I would like to mention this guy's name, Matthew Olaleye. We have to give him
And Lupe in Australia. Guys in Ireland, guys in Spain, Italy, Germany, South Africa, and several.
Not Western Germany.
Yeah. The ones in Western and Eastern Germany.
And all the coordinators across the globe,
Yes.
even in the US, Canada, and the rest of them. And the guys, I also want to mention Michael Fabi too in Canada.
Yes, welcome.
Michael.
What about our pastor who is also in Calgary? There's a pastor in Calgary, I forgot his name now. Oh, you have to forgive me. It's very good too. A lot of guys working
and don't forget
overtime.
Pastor Basil for very long.
Yes, Pastor Baxter, yes.
Suji.
Thank you. Oh, yes, wow. So there's going to be a people's debate in Abuja on the 10th of this month. Some presidential candidates are going to be there, and we have been selected as one of the presidential candidates. And our VP is actually debating, I think, on the 7th. Yes. So it's going to be, TVC. This is going to be organized by TVC, and there are 2 invitation cards up for, that people can win. So we will do a trivia at before the end of the show. So whoever gets it right will win 2 invitation cards to be part of that debate. You get to be in the debate, and you can come ask some pretty good questions. The VP one is happening on the 7th. It's going to be between our VP, Peter Obi from China, and Pastor Trader Money. Yeah.
Adiola Davids.
Yes. No, that's okay. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, are you guys writing up the trivia?
Yes.
If I get it, Junko, do I get it?
You have automatic tickets.
So.
Yeah. So we still.
Do we have any questions, by the way, coming from Zainab? People are tired of asking you questions. What about here?
People are asking you to talk about your visit to the church earlier today.
Yes.
Oh yeah. What about it? What about it?
They want you to talk about it because you started and then you.
No. Okay, maybe. I was saying that it was the Celestial CCC Genesis Global.
Yes.
There's a young guy in the Celestial Church of Christ. He's pretty digital guy. His name is Prophet Oladele. he's got nice haircut like mine too. So we went to the church, and I was actually talking about him in the church. That's when I started.
I want to invite him to the couch, Chef.
Yeah,
We would like
I saw him on Facebook one day, just randomly, and I'm like, I'm used to Celestial Church of the old, you know. I grew up beside the Celestial Church, but I thought that this guy was using Facebook, and he has like 2,000 people watching. I'm like, wow. Because it's very rare to find 2,000 people watching someone on Facebook. And I started monitoring him. And I saw that, you know, he's very charismatic. Turns out that he's not even educated. According to, in fact, he told us in church today that he's going to write his GCE for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah. And I offered to pay for his GCE form, you know. Yeah. If he accepts, I pay for his GCE form. He pays for everybody's GC form, but I'm going to pay for his. And it's the first time I'm going to donate to a church.
Right.
So, but he's amazing guy. So we went to the church. The church went crazy. What I mean, in a good way. Even at the point, the policemen in the area, based on our message, were shooting into the air. They were like excited. That's not encouraged because I don't want anybody becoming a victim of accidental discharge. So, but it was amazing. So I want to thank Pastor Ladele so much, and he was pretty much part of it. It's not like he just say go and talk. He was like amazing to him because it was as if, and I met him for the first time. But I was talking about how, in my view, what they did with him in Celestial Church is the kind of thing Nigeria should have done, which is this generational change.
Yes.
When you know the system is not working, look for an innovative and creative way to make it, you know. And he was just amazing. And then we talked about Nigeria. And when we finish, we have no doubt that the church they were ready for new Nigeria. So, do you have a trivia ready?
Yes.
Yes. Can I read it? I won't take this one. Bring another one. This one is too cheap.
It's too cheap.
Yeah, this one, they will get this one now.
Okay.
I know some
So
of
keep
them.
talking.
Okay. Right now, something that's very difficult, you know, like art wears is and carrying with repeated. So that was so well thank not only the pastor, but we have a lot of supporters in the church who's been working together. So when they saw us today, they were like very excited.
Where's the first IDP camp that Sowore visited?
Okay, that's true. That's one. If you can get, where is the first internally displaced person's camp I visited when this campaign started 9 months ago? Where's the light person? Where's the tech person in charge of light?
No, but we're good. So just
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
First IDP camp we visited. So, but there are two questions, right?
No, one question for both platforms, but the condition is that whoever wins it on both platforms must be in Abuja.
Okay, you have to be in Abuja,
to
otherwise
attend, yes.
winning doesn't make any difference.
So
Or
responses
if
are
you win
coming
in
in
Lagos and you can travel to Abuja, you know, on your own. You can't afford to buy it.
But let me say something, you know, with regards to young people.
Yes.
Because I come in here and I see a lot of young people.
Exactly.
And when you look at the demographics that INEC has put out for this election, 51% of the
registered
people
voters
that are going to vote that have PVC.
Yes.
That is more than half of them are young people.
Yes.
And so that should tell us something as young people.
Yeah.
You know, some of us may look young, but we're not so young.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to warn you about. All the people that you see here that are young.
No, but the
a lot
thing
of
is,
grandfathers in the house.
for those of us that are really within that age bracket, less than 35 years old, this is our time
Yeah.
to take it back.
Yeah, take it back. Action.
This is our time.
Show for Naija.
This is our time to take it back.
Yes.
Because if we do not do it now, we do not know when that time will come again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the best time to seize an opportunity is the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is the time.
Yeah.
So let us not be complacent. Let us not fall into that ditch that they are trying to push us to.
Yes.
That we have only to choose between the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
Some of us cannot swim, unlike Show.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's an
Some of us are antagonistic to the devil.
Yes.
And so we have nothing to do within the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
When we have people who are competent and capable
Yes.
of doing the job of the Nigerian president. And as Show has said very clearly, the job of the president is the chief motivator of the country. No more, no less.
That's right.
He's the one that goes out there and say, you know what, we can do it.
Yes, we can do more.
And get people to do it. And that is when the campaign started, we take it back to galvanize people that, look, you know what, we can take our country back from these vultures, from these buccaneers, who sit and feed fat on all of us just so that they can play the big manism. They can spend all their time abroad, as far as said, 4-year tenure, 3 years holiday.
Exactly. The
So-
longest holiday for any staff.
So
Yes.
we
Any worker.
as young people have the best opportunity, and I beg all of us, because I know that on the social media platforms, the most people that are there are young people.
Yeah.
So I beg all of us, those that are hearing it should take it to those that are not here to hear it. Let us seize this opportunity. We have a choice. We don't have to vote between 6 and half a dozen.
It's a real alternative.
We don't have to vote between 76 and 73.
No. Yeah. What's the difference?
Yes.
What is the difference between 76 years old and 73-year-old? Both of them should be in retirement homes,
Yes.
waiting, as you said, waiting to depart.
Yeah.
Because they have called their flight already.
Yes.
They are only waiting for their flight to tarmac.
Yes.
So please, we that are here now, that have not even gone to the airport, not talk of getting our boarding passes.
We have not even packed our luggage.
Yeah.
So this is our time. Let us not lose it, please. Let us do all that it takes. Let us go out there and vote. Let us not do Nigeria Decides on TV while the voting is going on.
Not by lip service.
Yes. So please, I urge all of us. We have a duty to ourselves and to our country.
A real responsibility.
And
We
I
should
also
not
want to
lose
say
it.
one thing is like, just as you said, how great will it be if in all of these things they are doing, the young people can just internally decide to shock these
Yes.
politicians.
Defy all the order.
So that, you know, the news
Once and for all.
on February 17 will be that Nigerian youths
Exactly.
shocked their leaders or their misrulers, you know, they threw them under the bus.
Yes.
Nobody knew that this would be the outcome of the election. Nobody ever thought that, you know, the winner of the election is not known to the economist in London or
And
BBC
we're gonna shock them.
or
the lobbyists in
CNN
Washington.
or the
We are
lobbyists
gonna
in
shock
Washington,
them.
you know.
So one
Or you know, and that's what's happening a lot. I saw a news item about El Salvador today. The guy who won the election is 37 years old. Nobody ever heard his name before until
from
today.
nowhere.
Yes, and that is happening in a lot of countries around the world. They are voting their conscience, and that is not exactly what the mainstream media expect, not what the international community expect. They are not candidates of businesses or
No godfatherism.
no godfathers. It's just, if that can happen, and that's what we know, and we are starting to see that trend on Instagram, by the way. The way, I don't know where the Instagram activism is coming from, but you know, the way people are acting on Instagram, it has put a lot of celebrities under pressure.
Yes.
Because they're asking them, okay, after we go and get the PVC, who are we voting
Yes.
for?
Tell us.
You
Identify
know,
with somebody.
because it's easy to say, go and get your PVC. Yes, thank you. We have our PVC now. 10 days to go.
You know, so one of the interesting things that I've looked at this election over time is that, you know, most voters are uninformed voters. But now that we have the youths that are educated, that are informed, because you have to be informed to make the right informed decision.
Decisions, yeah.
Because back in those days, the geologists, the almajiris that make decisions, they only tell you look for umbrella or a broom.
Also a broom, yeah.
So you are not even asking questions behind the character that are behind those brooms and umbrellas. So now that the young people are coming out, they should be asking questions.
And the logo of broom It's not even a good thing in Africa.
Yes.
It's for people,
Yes.
it's for people
Yes.
who fly at night.
So you know what? Another interesting thing is that if you come to somebody's house and they want to,
Sweep you away.
It's like bad luck. Let's sweep bad luck.
All right, let me quickly mention our latest donors on GoFundMe. Blessing Ogbomoide, $20. There's $10 from Belua Joseph. There's $100 from Alfred Nwako, and he has a message for us. Take It Back is a democratic movement that has a firm ideological foundation that could check the excesses and also recall any elected official under the AAC platform who doesn't follow through on what our political movement represents, in conjunction with the yearnings of ordinary Nigerians. Thank you so much, Alfred Nwako. You know.
On that note, I would like to ask a question. Can you tell me what political movement that is so organic that beats the Take It Back movement? Can you tell me in Nigeria?
No. It's never happened before in Nigeria.
After Take It Back, Take It Back.
Take It Back. It's unprecedented.
$100 from Oscar Onu, standing on the right side of history. He says, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something, especially for everybody that is behind the camera. I mean, we watch every night what you guys are doing.
We don't know the people on the other side.
They're working tirelessly.
When I see you travel miles, because we are just back in the States, we see Sowore and these guys are doing great. But trust me, you guys are doing a lot.
So can we give it up to them?
Sometimes I see the ladies standing in the cars. I don't know you, but look, all of you. I just want to say thank you.
Guys.
We
Thanks
love
for
you.
your
We
support.
care for
Again, can we give them a round of applause?
because the enthusiasm, the zeal, the passion is much. I mean, if Sowore doesn't appreciate you guys, we do.
No, what you trying to say?
I'm serious. We do. I'm serious. We do.
Including Parker,
I mean,
and Sowore
taking
as well.
alive everything.
No,
I mean, you guys are wonderful. You guys are
I should
awesome.
say yesterday,
You guys are
and this
awesome,
is very,
man.
very important that what you just said. Yesterday, as of 12 midnight, most of the guys haven't had food.
This is too much.
And we had not eaten, since we arrived Benin, and didn't eat until 12 midnight.
This is too much, man.
We
can
couldn't-
feed.
Yes,
We can feed
and
the
people are working very hard, very, very hard, tirelessly. And some of them ran the marathon, by the way.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
There's two of the ladies who ran the marathon with ice cream in their mouth,
Labor is something. They burn some calories.
I'm serious. Your
Yeah.
labor
The
of love is
70-year-old
not in vain.
candidates run.
Oh, you want? If we could get them to run the marathon, the race will be over. Because people will be in London now in hospital.
In lieu of that, we're going to do a special for all the crews.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we're working on
We
that.
want to
Yeah.
have a get together for all of you.
We're going to read
put
out all
that
their names
together.
and recognize
And
them.
our room here is a national refugee. Yeah, this place is.
Yes.
Seriously,
That's another thing I
this
want to
place is
say.
an IDP.
Yes.
IDP camp.
You see how people sleep around.
On vast night, we're going to get a kind
gonna
of
take it
assault
back
for
for
all
real.
of you.
Yeah.
Everybody on
Just
vast
that.
night on the 14th February. Myself
Yes.
and Lesky, we are
No,
discussing
we're
this.
planning. Yes, don't let the cat out of the bag. We are planning a Valentine's
let
Day.
the asphalt of the
Yes.
Don't worry. I also want to appreciate my brother from the US.
Kola. Yes.
I must tell you, to be honest with you, he's one of the most committed guys.
Energetic.
Energetic. He's my brother, and I must tell you, man, I appreciate him. Now, take it back.
Well, let me tell you something about Kola that you guys don't even know.
Oh, please.
Right from the first day that Sowore came to Maryland to talk to myself, Lesky and Malcolm, Kola was the ADC. Yes. He was the one taking care of Sowore, doing everything.
Protocol officer.
In fact, everything. Kola, God bless you. He's been consistent.
And I must tell you that if I'm not around, if you have Kola, You have taken part-time crier.
Thank you guys so much.
And also, as always, I must mention my friend, my good friend, Sowore again.
Yeah, he's always calling me. Hey, when are you coming? Hey, when are you coming? Hey, when I say
20, what's it 20?
I dey call, man. I dey call. You guys are awesome, man. You guys are great.
Sure, we're gonna do a special for all of you guys,
all of
man.
you.
The crew,
14th.
the entire crew, man, guys.
People
It's
are
gonna rock.
excited. People are excited.
14th, we're gonna rock.
an
You know what I'm
amazing job
saying?
that you guys have been doing, and we do
We're gonna
appreciate
rock.
you all.
Let me mention Kemi Shenkoya, $35 just came in. Thank you guys. I'm sure there's some, before we go, we have 10 more minutes to go. It'll be 12 midnight, and it feels like 7 p.m.
Yes, the energy is still there.
Adeyemi Tayo, 1,000 naira. Akonde Blessing Fikayo, I think this is a regular donor, 2,000 naira. Wow, B Norbert Shuku Weke, 3,000 naira. Abiodun Olufumilayo, 5,000 naira. Olani Yodamilola is 5,000 naira. And one thing I should say, is that even though this, we all know that this party has no ethnic coloration.
Yes.
But one thing I was
Religious
saying in terms of
affiliation.
donation is that everybody is donating from every part of
Selflessly.
Nigeria. It doesn't matter what they have. And, before we came here tonight, our bank account was around 700,000. Now we've reached 1,157,000. Actually, 1,163,834 naira 40 kobo. Wow. 40 kobo for you, mistake. So, guys, it's been amazing. We have 9 more minutes to go. Is there anything? Do you guys have any special requests?
No, we have
Question.
no, not question.
You have somebody who got it right?
People who won, but before that, I'll just read out some of the responses.
Okay.
So Kubi Ireaya is saying the Bakassi IDP camp.
Oh wow, you got it right.
Yeah, he
And
got
also,
it.
I want to give you a special information. Dr. Damages will be live in Nigeria for the election. Dr. Damages, Rudolph Okonkwo.
You can't come and be advertising.
Don't worry.
This is not Sahara Reporters.
He's not Shahar.
You will pay for jingles.
Yes, I have to pay for it.
200,000.
I don't think. Do you guys know what we're doing tomorrow so that we can inform the public transparently? We're not sure. Yes, we're planning to go to Alaba
International.
Right, but we don't have a date yet. So if you're there, be ready for us. What time? We don't know yet. But guys, what do you have something to add?
Quickly before we go, I just remember 2 people that I would like to mention quickly. Tayo, Akin, Yemi, Zubotiano.
Zobo, yes.
And also Afiz, Eniola.
Yes.
Ajegunle guys. Yes.
He's representing Ajegunle in New York City.
Yeah, and Jimmy Fashion is the
Jimmy
coordinator of
Fash,
Stone
yes.
Williams. And I must tell you, the secretary in New York to New York coordinate to New York take it back. Yomi Agosa has been wonderful,
Fantastic
guy, man.
Thank you so much.
We want to put together the protest and the rest of it.
Yes. Dosumu Okonla Waliu just donated 5,000 naira. Opawumi Oluwaseun Yeni 10,000 naira just now. Yes. And Adeyemi Tayo 1,000 naira. Thank you guys.
And also, our good friend is going to be joining us pretty soon. Bukola Oreofe.
This is amazing. So we have 6 minutes to go. If you have any questions for us, you have donations
Do you have
to
any
make.
questions online? On any platform?
Oh, OPJ, yes.
Steve, OPG.
We want to thank Steve OPJ. He's a radio DJ, who is an amazing guy. interviewed me on Wazobia, he got fired. I don't know if he got fired because of me, but you know, he got fired around the time I was. Yeah, he said he doesn't want to go back to radio yet, but he's doing a lot of work for us. So wherever you may be tonight, just watching,
Dr. Pius.
sharing. How many people do we have watching?
784.
So we dropped after, you see, Azadus, you are very popular. The moment you left the house. What did we reach before that?
We were 989.
Wow. Look, there's a person in the house that I want to invite.
Yes.
This guy, you know, very quiet. I know he doesn't want me to do this, but we have to do it. Anderson in the house. Yeah, we want to surprise him. Yeah. You have to come. This guy has been everywhere with us. You know, I documented yes, thank you. Action.
Take it back.
Action.
Take it back.
Yes.
Take it back.
You know, we can't also forget our brother from Ghana, who's in the house. That's Juwon.
Juwon?
Yes. Juwon is not from Ghana, he's Nigerian. It's amazing, guys. You know that guy who is a troublemaker from here, like Femi Adeyeye, is in the house? You know, the Afrobeat musician, Wole Sentimental.
Yeah.
One of the foremost social media, quiet social media revolutionaries in the house, Stella. Yes, our youth coordinator, Fodder. Federal officer is in the house somewhere. You know, federal officer Mero is in the house.
Mero.
Yes, and no, I mentioned Juwon. Juwon is a guy from Ghana, right? Yes. Last, yes. Where's Last? Yes. Yes. And yes.
No,
Parker. Yeah, Parker and yes, no, let me introduce him, you know. And cameraman extraordinary.
hey!
And Black Sinolo Parisian. Sleeping, you know. Pius just came in. Pius Omoriga. Yes, and there's Comrade Bukwade in the house. Very good, and what time is it? We have 2 minutes. Let's check if you have any donations that's coming.
It's not about money.
It's not all about money, but we have to acknowledge people before they go to bed. You know, what did the jet here? Omori Ewema de Kingsley, 5,000 naira. Let's look at GoFundMe in case anything is coming. Nothing from GoFundMe at this point, but if we hear from them, we'll let you know and let you know immediately. But it's been an amazing outing tonight. It's 11:59 exactly. I think we can call it a night. Yes. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. It's any moment from now, it will be 10 days before the election. So let's wait till it's 12 midnight so we can say it's 10 days before the election. And 10 days can mean a lot in the life of a nation. Yeah, it can make a lot of difference.
10 days to a victory.
So one last thing we'll say before you go is that there's a strategy, but this one is from the PDP. They met and made a decision that they should be telling people that anybody that votes for us is voting for APC.
Yeah.
So you hear that a lot. It was actually planned by them because they started feeling very uncomfortable everywhere they get to. Especially from young people, they are saying they don't want to see them. They don't want to see
They don't like our progress.
So they've been carrying a rumor that anything. First, they started by saying that if you vote for Sowore, you are wasting your vote. And when people start telling them that they want to waste their vote,
Let's waste our votes.
now they have changed it to say that if you
Is it your
vote for
vote?
Sowore, you are
Is it
voting.
yours?
Exactly, it's not
It's
your
my
vote.
franchise.
You are voting for APC. If you vote for us, you have not voted for APC and you have not voted for PDP.
Correct.
You have voted
For
for
your
AAC.
And you have
And
voted for your
future, your conscience, and you have voted for freedom. And you have
liberty.
voted for economic, social, cultural, political freedom.
Niger for
All right, so it's time for
Thank you. Thank you.
10 days to the election, guys.
We're taking it back. We're taking it back.